Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive. Today we are plunging head first into the absolute roller coaster timeline of Death Note, the anime specifically.
Yeah, we're looking at all the key stuff, the events, the characters, those twists that just make your head spin, all straight from the show itself.
Absolutely. Our mission really is just to navigate this super intense plot. We want to help you understand those key moments, follow that incredible cat and mouse game.
But between some seriously smart characters,
Yeah.
and sometimes, yeah, pretty terrifying ones too.
Exactly. So think of this like we're just geeking out together over this wild story. You can just, have this playing while you're doing your thing. It's a great recap.
Definitely. It's going to be a ride.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Where does it all start? November 2006, right? But not even in the human world.
Nope. Way up in the Shinigami realm. The gods of death.
And there's this one Shinigami, Ryuk, and he's just bored, like existentially bored.
Utterly, soul-crushingly bored. He needs some excitement. Needs to shake things up a bit. So what does a bored death god do? He steals a death note. And not just any note. He swipes it from another Shinigami. Sito, I think.
Yeah, Sita wasn't paying attention. Big mistake. Comes back later. So Ryuk gets this note.
And just drops it into the human world, writes the rules in English, apparently just because.
Just for kicks, it seems. And guess who finds it? November 28th.
Our main guy, Light Yagami, high school genius, top of his class, but maybe a little cynical about the world.
Definitely cynical. He finds this notebook, reads the rules. The human whose name is written in this note shall die. He's like, yeah, right.
But he tries it, doesn't he? That curiosity.
Gets the better of him. First test. Some criminal holding hostages. Writes the name, waits 40 seconds.
Heart attack. Just like the note said. Boom.
But he needs to be sure, right? So a second test. This time, a different criminal, different method truck accident.
And it works again. Perfectly. What does that tell you about Light right off the bat?
He doesn't stop there. That's the thing. He doesn't just test it and freak out. He goes on a 5-day killing spree of criminals.
Whoa. Okay, so he's not just confirming it works, he's using it immediately, embracing the power.
It's kind of chilling how fast he goes from "is this real" to "I am justice." Then, December 3rd, Ryuk shows up.
Finally reveals himself, tells Light, hey, I'm the owner, and lays down some extra rules, important ones.
Yeah, like the fact that Ryuk himself will eventually write Light's name down. And the big one, use the note, you don't go to heaven or hell, you just cease to exist.
Heavy stuff. But Light's reaction.
He's already bought in. He sees himself as a god. He's creating this perfect new world, using these heart attacks as, his signature, his righteous judgment.
And the world notices. Of course they do. All these criminals dropping dead from heart attacks. The public starts calling the killer Kira.
Which, naturally, brings in the counterforce.
Right.
The only person maybe smart enough to challenge Kira? The super detective L.
Ah, L. He starts working with the Japanese police. And his first move against Kira, it's legendary.
Oh, yeah. Glendale Taylor broadcast.
Yeah.
Just genius. He gets a death row inmate.
Puts him on TV, says, I am L, come and get me. Knowing Kira needs a name and face.
It's a perfect trap. And Light, kind of arrogant with his new power.
Takes the bait. Kills Taylor live on air.
Big mistake. L immediately comes back on, voice disguised, reveals Taylor was a decoy, and that the broadcast was only shown in the Kanto region of Japan.
Boom. 2 massive deductions. Kira needs a name and face, and Kira is in Kanto. Just like that.
And they start looking at when Kira kills. The time
outside school hours, which leads them to think Kira's a student.
Exactly. But Light has an ace up his sleeve. His dad is the police chief.
So Ichiro Yagami, and Light's been hacking his dad's computer, getting inside info on the investigation. Super risky, but
Gives him a huge edge. This is why L eventually brings in the FBI, right? To investigate the police themselves, including Light's dad's team.
And Ryuk points out Light's being tailed. This leads to the Shinigami Eyes offer.
Right. Ryuk's like, hey, I can give you the power to see everyone's name and lifespan just by looking at them.
But it'll cost you half your remaining life. Big decision.
And Light says no. He's focused on his mission, his new world, not how long he gets to live in it. Says a lot about him.
Okay, so those FBI agents. Light knows they're a problem. Early 2007, he comes up with this incredibly intricate plan to get rid of his specific tail, Ray Pember.
This is where you really see Light's ruthlessness, his strategic mind. He sets up a bus hijacking.
Gets himself and Ray Pember on that exact bus. Uses the situation to trick Pember into showing his FBI badge.
And he even touches the hijacker with a hidden piece of the death note. So the guy sees Ryuk, freaks out, and creates a diversion. It's layers upon layers.
After the hijacker dies as planned, Light corners Pember. He doesn't just kill him.
No, it's too simple for Light. He blackmails Pember, uses his name, forces him to write down the names of all the other FBI agents working on the Kira case onto a piece of death note paper.
Pember has no idea what he's doing. He kills his whole team without realizing it, and then Light kills Pember, even revealing he's Kira right before Pember dies.
Just cold.
Yeah.
The fallout is massive. The FBI team is wiped out. The Japanese task force, their morale just tanks. Only 5 guys stick around.
You'd have to be seriously dedicated, or maybe a bit crazy. So this period, January to March 2007, also introduces some other key players, and another death note, actually.
Right. Ray Pember's fiancée, Naomi Mizora. She was FBI too, very sharp. She starts digging on her own.
She nearly gets to the task force, but bumps into Light first. Big mistake.
Huge. Light uses the police chief's son, Angle, gains her trust, and figures out she knows Ray showed his ID to someone on the bus. She knows Kira was on that bus.
She's a massive threat to him. She uses an alias, Shokomaki, but Ryuk kind of gives it away by laughing about her hiding her name.
And Light's manipulation here is just chilling. He pretends he's working with Elle, gets her real name out of her.
And then uses the death note to make her commit suicide in a way her body will never, ever be found. Just removes her from the board completely. Brutal.
So dark. After that close call, Light focuses on the surveillance Elle inevitably puts on him, the cameras, the wiretaps in his room.
He gets Ryuk to find them all. The price. Apples, of course.
Ryuk loves those apples. And this leads to that iconic moment, right? The potato chip bag trick.
Oh, yeah. The mini TV hidden inside the chip bag. So he can keep killing criminals while looking like he's just studying genius-level deception.
While Light's doing all this, consolidating power, we meet Misa Amane, a famous model, pop star.
And a total Kira devotee. Because Kira killed the man who murdered her parents, she owes Kira everything in her mind.
And Misa has her own Shinigami encounter, a different one. Jailus falls in love with her from the Shinigami realm.
Sees her about to be killed by a stalker.
And Jailus writes the stalker's name in his death note to save her.
But that's a big no-no for Shinigami, right? You can't extend a human's life like that.
Exactly. Jailus violates the rule, turns to dust. But his remaining lifespan, it transfers to Misa. She gets a much longer life now.
And another Shinigami, Rem, who saw Jailus sacrifice himself, feels indebted. So Rem takes Jailus's death note.
And gives it to Misa. And what does Misa do?
Instantly makes the Shinigami ideal. Trades half of her now super extended lifespan to get the eyes so she can find Kira and help him.
So now we've got Light with his note and Ryuk, Misa with her note, her eyes, and Rem. 2 Kiras. Things are about to get really messy.
Which brings us right to April 2007, the big meeting. Light and Elle finally face-to-face at Tuo University.
Both got perfect scores on the entrance exam, naturally. Elle introduces himself as Hideki Ryuga, this famous pop idol name.
But then, in classic Elle fashion, he just drops it. By the way, I'm Elle. Right to Light's face.
What a power move. It's another test. He's putting Light in a bind. If Light kills him now, well, that basically confirms he's Kira.
Light realizes immediately she's stuck, can't kill Elle without outing himself, so begins this intense psychological game between them.
The tennis match. Elle constantly voicing his suspicions. Light agreeing to join the task force to get closer. It's all part of it.
Light wants Elle's real name. Elle wants Light under constant watch. So Ichiro, Light's dad, even confirms Elle's identity to Light later at the hospital.
And just as things are heating up between them, boom, April 22nd. The second Kira makes their move.
Tapes sent to Sakura TV, making demands, threats, and the horrifying part. This Kira only needs a face.
We see that happen, tragically. Task Force member Yukita rushes the TV station, gets seen on camera, and dies instantly. Proves the second Kira has the eyes.
Light is definitely intrigued, another Death Note user, but also this is chaos. He needs to control this new player. He volunteers to help the task force track down the second Kira, all while planning to use them.
So June 2007, the Kiras collide. Elle tries to lure out the second Kira with a broadcast. Misa sees it.
And using her Shinigami eyes, she sees Elle's lifespan. But then she sees Light Yagami standing nearby, and he has no lifespan visible above his head.
Bingo. Only other Death Note users appear without lifespans. She knows instantly Light Yagami is Kira.
She tracks him down, shows up at his house, reveals everything: her note, her eyes, her undying devotion, asks to be his girlfriend, says he can just use her if he wants. It's a lot.
Super intense. Light agrees, of course. But inside, he's thinking, okay, I'll use her, then kill her later. Standard Light.
But there's a catch. Rem, Misa's Shinigami. Rem tells Light straight up, harm Misa, or let her die unnaturally and I will kill you.
So Light's trapped. He's got this reckless, obsessed second Kira, and a Shinigami who will kill him if he messes up. He tries to manage her, tells her they need to keep it secret, date other people as cover.
But Misa's impulsive. He says, wait 2 weeks. She shows up in 2 days. And that recklessness leads to trouble.
Yeah, forensic evidence here. Fibers connects Misa to those Sakura TV tapes. L puts the pieces together and arrests her.
Now Light's panicking. If Rem kills L to save Misa, suspicion falls right back on Light. So Rem talks Misa into giving up the Death Note, which erases her memories of it.
And this triggers Light's most complex plan yet. Maybe his masterpiece of manipulation.
He arranges everything to clear himself and Misa. He gets Rem to give her note to a new person. He buries his own note. Writes fake rules in the third note. The 13-day rule is key here.
Then he has Rem give that note to someone greedy and powerful at the Yotsuba Corporation, Kyusuke Higuchi, knowing L will eventually target Yotsuba.
And the final piece. Light gives up his own note and asks to be detained. Voluntarily relinquishes ownership, erasing his own memories of being Kira.
It's an insane gamble, but it works. While Light and Misa are locked up, the killings stop. Then after 15 days, Higuchi starts killing as the new Kira. The timing makes Light and Misa look innocent.
They're released. Which brings us to the next major phase, L's demise. July to December 2007.
With his memories gone, Light is genuinely working with L and the task force to catch this new Kira. He's actually quite brilliant, even without the Kira memories. Helps figure out Kira's likely in Yotsuba.
Nisa, also memory wiped but still an idol, uses her connections to get close to Yotsuba. She actually manages to get Higuchi on tape admitting he's Kira.
The task force sets a trap, captures Higuchi, gets the death note he was using, and then the moment. Light touches the notebook.
And bam, everything comes flooding back, all his memories of being Kira, instantly.
And what's his first move? Uses a tiny scrap of death note paper hidden in his watch to kill Higuchi right then and there. Ties up that loose end.
Then he immediately tells Misa where he buried his original note. Tells her to go dig it up.
Misa touches her old note, gets her memories back too, and the first thing she does.
Makes the Shinigami eye deal. Again, having her lifespan for a second time. Incredible.
Light, now fully Kira again, pushes Misa to start killing, knowing this will put her directly in L's sights. He's forcing Rem's hand.
Exactly. He knows Rem will have to act to save Misa, and Rem does. To prevent L from catching Misa, Rem writes L's real name and Watari's name in her death note.
She knows this breaks the Shinigami rule about extending a human life. She saves Misa, but...
Rem turns to dust. Dies right there. Meanwhile, L collapses. Heart attack.
Dies in Light's arms. And in that final moment, Light lets his mask slip just for a second. That triumphant smirk, before pretending to grieve.
With L and Watari gone, Light basically wins. He takes over L's identity, takes control of the investigation. It looks like Kira is unstoppable.
But L had a backup plan. Successors. Raised by Watari at Wami's house. Nier and Mello. They hear about L's death, and they are coming for Kira.
Okay, huge time jump now. 5 years later, it's 2012.
And Kira's influence is massive.
Yeah.
Global crime is down, wars have stopped. But there are also Kira cults. Light, operating as L within the Japanese police, the MPA, is pretty much running things.
But Nier and Mello are active. Nier has formed the SPK, the Special Provision for Kira, based in the U.S.
And Mello, he's gone rogue.
Rogue.
Working with the mafia. His first move is bold, kidnaps the head of the MPA.
Light kills the MPA chief remotely with the note to stop Mello getting leverage. So Mello just kidnaps Light's sister, Sayu, instead, much more personal.
This forces Light as L to contact Nier and the SPK. They have to work together very reluctantly to get Sayu back.
The exchange happens. Sayu is returned safe, but Mello and the Mafia get one of the death notes, and Mello immediately uses it to kill a bunch of SPK agents. Just a message to Nier.
And remember Sito, the Shinigami, whose note Ryuk originally stole. He finally tracks it down, finds it with Mello's Mafia group. He needs it back, so he ends up kind of helping them.
Light needs that notebook back from the Mafia. He gets Misa, who still has some memories, or gets them back temporarily, I think, to act as Kira and demand the task force retrieve the note.
Right. And Suichiro, Light's father, wanting this and still believing in his son, volunteers to take ownership of the notebook recovered from Higuchi so he can make the eye deal.
Creating half his remaining lifespan for the Shinigami eyes. Man, these lifespan deals.
Suichiro leads the raid on the Mafia hideout. He uses the eyes, sees Mello's real name, Michael Keel, but he hesitates. He can't bring himself to kill a young man, even Mello.
And in that hesitation, he gets shot, fatally wounded.
As he's dying, he looks at Light. Because Light had briefly relinquished ownership of his own note earlier as part of a plan, his lifespan was visible above his head again. So Ichiro sees it and dies, believing his son cannot possibly be Kira. Just heartbreaking.
Sito gets his notebook back in the chaos. The U.S. government, seeing the mess, shuts down Nier's SPK.
Mello and Nier actually meet up after this. They share intel. Mello's knowledge of the fake rules helps Nier become almost 100% certain that the current L, Light Yagami, is Kira. And this suspicion starts to really spread to Task Force member Aizawa.
Light knows Nier is getting dangerously close. He tries to take Nier out using Kira's TV spokesperson, Demagawa, inciting a mob attack on the SPK's New York base.
Nier escapes by basically showering the mob with money. Classic Nier. But the attack forces him to relocate. Aizawa's suspicion grows, he calls Nier secretly. Then tells Light he called Nier, testing Light's reaction. This leads to a search of Light's apartment.
Light knew this might happen. He'd already set up his next proxy. He had Misa give up her notebook again.
This time to Teru Mikami, a hardcore Kira worshiper, a prosecutor. He becomes ex-Kira. Misa loses her memories. Again, poor Misa.
Mikami is extremely methodical, maybe even more fervent than Light. He kills Demagawa for acting without orders. He picks Kiyomi Takada, a news anchor who dated Light in college, as Kira's new public voice.
Light uses Takada to secretly pass messages to Mikami during their monitored calls and meetings. Niera moves his operation to Japan, focusing on Mikami as the likely ex-Kira.
SPK agent Giovanni starts tailing Mikami. He actually witnesses Mikami use the notebook, confirming he's the proxy. Aizawa finds proof of Light in Takada's secret messages. The net is tightening.
Light knows the endgame is coming. He sets up his final elaborate trap, the fake notebook plan. Mikami will make a show of using a fake notebook in public.
While the real killing is done by Takada, writing names, Mikami sends her into the real Death Note, which is hidden away safely. Or so Light thinks.
This takes us to the climax. January 2013, the Yellow Box warehouse. Misa and another task force member, Mogi, are detained by the SPK. Mogi is now also convinced Light is Kira. Giovanni gets the final piece. He breaks into Mikami's bank deposit box and photographs the pages of the real notebook. Proof positive. Nier arranges the final confrontation. January 28th, Yellow Box warehouse.
Light feels confident. He thinks he knows Nier's plan. What he doesn't anticipate is Mello's last act. On January 26th, Mello kidnaps Kiyomi Takada.
Huge disruption, but Takada has a secret weapon, a hidden scrap of the Death Note. She uses it to kill Mello during the kidnapping.
She calls Light, panicked. Then she calls Mikami. Mikami, fearing she'll be captured and expose everything, makes a fatal mistake.
He deviates from his routine. He goes to the bank himself to use the real notebook to kill Takada.
But Giovanni sees him. Giovanni sees Mikami go to the bank off schedule and use the hidden notebook. This confirms to Nier that the notebook Mikami carries daily must be a fake, and the real one is in the bank.
This allows Nier's team to secretly swap the real notebook in the bank vault with a perfect replica before the warehouse meeting. Light has no idea.
January 28th, the warehouse. Light, the task force, near the SPK. Everyone's there. Mikami arrives outside. He uses his Shinigami eyes through a crack in the door.
Writes down everyone's name in the notebook he has, except Light's.
He waits the 40 seconds. Light, thinking he's won, starts his gloating monologue. I am Kira. I win Nier.
Nothing happens. The names don't work because the notebook is fake. Nier swapped it.
Light just completely loses it. Absolute panic, screaming, accusing Nier of cheating.
The remaining task force members finally see the truth. It's undeniable. Matsuda, in just this raw, emotional moment, shoots Light. Mikami sees Kira, his god, defeated. He screams and kills himself with his pen. Total chaos.
Light, wounded, tries to run. He stumbles out of the warehouse, collapses on some stairs.
And Ryuk appears, watching it all. He sees Light has lost. Game over.
And just like he promised way back at the beginning, Ryuk writes Light Yagami's name in his own death note.
Light dies. Heart attack. Right there on the stairs, unable to go to heaven or hell. The reign of Kira is over.
Wow. What a ride. Just laying it all out like that. Yeah. The complexity is staggering.
It really is. Following Light from finding that note to,
well,
to the stairs, the strategies, the moral decay, it's intense.
So after going through all that, this whole timeline, what sticks with you the most? Thinking about it now is the terrifying idea of that power, the moral questions it raises, or just that incredible battle of wits. What aspect of this whole story really makes you think?